Boys, we found a box.
What's in the box, Jake?
Box is full of all our old vintage merchandise. We've got mugs, we've got caps, we've got the white box tee, we've got the Let's Get Into It tee, but there is absolutely next to no stock. So there's a handful of items in each size,
we thought all this was gone.
They were our best sellers.
But we actually found a box underneath a bunch of other boxes, and we're ready to sell it.
It was sold out, and then it is back from the grave purely because we found a box. There is I cannot stress, there is next to no items left in each of the sizes. So if there is an item in your size, pick it up because it might be the very last one.
Head to macpac.com.au, grab your order.
G'day and welcome to the Mac Pack.
We're back.
My name is Jake McKenna, and to my left this week in Order the Man on the panel who loves the bees. That's my little roller show. How are you, boy?
Biz. Hi, bee listeners.
And to
Hope you enjoy.
and to my right, coming in 6'1" as he does each and every week, it's the baby brother of the pack who we call Junior Boy. Junior Boy, how are you, mate?
I've got a question about roll-on versus spray deodorant that I'm bringing to the table this week.
We are chatting about that. We've got bees off the top.
Yes, we do. Some big bee news.
Oh, really?
Can't say any news is big bee news, in my opinion, but I'm keen to hear it.
Yeah.
We're also discussing the school lunch boxes.
The best kind of boxes.
Yeah, I'm going to be ripping into that.
I'm keen to hear what roll-on deodorant versus spray deodorant has.
Oh, mate, it's the question we've all been
We
wondering.
asked the people of Perth, we'll find out. Plus, Junior Boy, you've got a service station hero. It's a massive app. Let's get into it. Boys and boys!
Flamingos.
How are we all well?
Yep, feeling great. Hope you guys all enjoyed Will's episode last week.
Yes,
Yeah.
mammoth.
Good chat, eh?
Yeah, it was good.
Lovely guy.
Liked it.
On to the next.
On to the next. No time to fuck around.
Yeah, we got shit to talk about, all right?
Guys, bees.
Bee news, it's breaking.
For fuck's
Bee news.
sake.
But not like bee as in,
The letter.
yeah.
ABC.
Bee as in the buzz.
Oh,
the buzzy
buzzy.
bee.
The buzzy bee. When was the last time you saw a bee?
Oh, it's a good one, actually. Huh.
It isn't the season, but probably like at the HBF run for a reason. There was heaps.
Heaps. There was rain.
That's why I ran so quick.
That's rain.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
rain you're thinking
No, there
of.
was lots. There's usually heaps in our pool as well. Going for a swim?
There's lots in the pool.
Yeah, bees do like. Yeah, I haven't seen one recently. Like the rain. They don't like the rain.
Nah.
They don't like the rain. They also don't like being involved in trucks rolling over.
Uh-oh.
If a truck rolls over, a bee does not want to be around there.
No.
Which was found out in Washington. That's right.
Oh, DC.
Big Sky Country.
DB. BD.
Yeah, Linden,
BCD.
Washington.
Linden.
Linden, Washington.
Where's that?
In Washington.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there was a big truck
Oh.
had fallen over.
Oh.
Fallen.
And
It had
it
McFallen
spun
over.
out or something. Not exactly sure what happened.
You make it sound like it fell down a step.
Yeah.
It like flipped over,
yeah.
and the back of the truck is all gone. The stuff that it was carrying.
Yeah.
So a swarm of bees had been released because this was a truck that was transporting bees. I think they do them for migration or some shit.
Yeah.
It's transporting bees.
Yeah, it was taking bees from one part of the country to the other part of the country.
And now they're all astray.
Yeah, and now they're astray.
Goodness
Based
gracious
on this
bee.
size of this truck, how many bees do you reckon?
At least 2. A million.
250,000.
250,000, Riley?
Can I see the photo up close?
Yeah,
Because you're holding it about 200 meters away from me.
And I
It's a
have
truck, kind of like an Optimus Prime size truck.
It says 70,000 pounds of active bees. So,
That's
How much
gotta
do you think a
be
bee weighs?
yeah, I reckon like 500,000.
Okay. The
Yeah.
original estimate from the sheriff was 250 million bees.
Oh!
So I missed it by like a million.
Yeah, well, he misstepped actually by quite a bit as well.
Oh.
It was closer to 14 million bees.
Fucking hell.
And
That's a
this
lot of
blew
bees.
my mind.
Imagine living in that
Is
place.
that all of them? Ever?
all the bees.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was that many bees.
That's what I mean. I haven't seen that many ever.
They've been rooting, bro.
I don't know.
Imagine
Can't
li-
be all of them. You can't think not all bees in the world could fit inside one truck.
But imagine living
That
in
doesn't
that
sound right.
place. Imagine that place, like living there, and now there's just bees everywhere. Like there would just be so many bees everywhere. 14 million more.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. It would be a pretty scary thing. And I've got a bit of craft that I've cooked up
Nice. Here we go.
because I saw this on the news, right?
Yeah.
It was massive. A big headline. Truck rolls over in Washington.
Okay.
14 million bees on the loose, right?
Is the swoosh going to be really loud like last time?
I'm gonna
Do you want me to-
Eventually,
do you
yeah.
want me
Am I
to
meant
ride
to
the
be
fa-
deafened?
Do you want me to ride?
Yeah.
Do you want me to ride the fader?
Ride the fader.
I'm going to ride the fader.
Yeah.
I'm going to save everyone's ears.
So just imagine this. I'm watching the TV.
So, Joe, what you can do here is you can actually see how loud something is via a decibel reading, and then you can equal them out.
No, fuck it.
Now, a bit of
Trial and
No,
error.
I'll just do it
Do it
live.
live.
I'll just ride
Yeah,
the fader,
yeah.
bro.
So imagine this. You're sitting at home. You're watching the news. Oh, there's a big news headline.
Yeah.
14 million bees on the loose, right?
Person has
And then
been-
that's like, you're going to fucking find out more on the news when the news is on.
Right.
6 p.m.
That's
And
what
then
we've
it
done
cuts-
here.
Yeah, and then it cuts over to an ad.
Oh,
And the ad is none other than
the beam.
that show is called like 911 Operator or something.
Yeah.
It's one of those crappy like cop shows, right?
Oh wow.
Shit,
Just
yeah.
about, I mean, one of those great cop shows about cops and stuff.
Yeah.
Great people doing
And
great
this is the
things.
episode that they were advertising.
You want to ride the fader or me?
Someone write it. It's going to hurt me.
So you've just seen the headline 40 million bees, and then you get hit with this.
911, what's your emergency?
The truck was hauling 22 million killer bees,
Enough bees to kill.
44,000 people. It's a bee native.
Oh my god, you
Yes.
gotta work at it.
Yes, Joey. Love
How
that.
about
So,
that?
do you know how sound works, right?
That's good,
There's
though.
volume.
I
right?
want to hear
I
it
didn't
again.
realize the whoosh was so loud,
It was-
okay?
You got to listen back to it after you make the craft.
But on my laptop, it's only fine because
Yeah.
the speakers went tied to my head.
Okay, so what's going? So there's a news article.
Yeah.
About that.
And then,
And then
then-
right after.
Is it a fictional TV show?
Yes.
Okay, it sounded fictional as fuck.
Like fictional
about
fake.
Beanator, yeah, fake, yeah.
oh right.
But can you believe that?
and then they wrote that storyline due to that.
No.
no,
or prior to-
You think
Irrelevant.
they
Wow.
produced an entire TV show in an afternoon?
Oh man, they are. Anything's possible.
It was pretty crazy. I felt like that was one of the biggest coincidences in my life.
That's big.
Thoughts?
Were you watching American TV?
No, so that
Or is this on
I couldn't get
R/B?
the 7+ ad.
Is this on R/B?
No, it was an ad on like 7 Mate or something.
Oh, what the hell?
But that ad was
Australian
from when this
TV.
show was on in America
Okay.
months ago.
Wow.
Yeah. But the Beanator episode was scheduled to come out the day after
It's almost as
a
if
bee disaster.
It's almost a documentary.
it's like a real life Simpsons thing. Like Simpsons, they
Yeah.
depict it and then it happens.
But in this case, real life predicted Beanator.
wow.
But yeah, I just thought that was crazy.
That's huge.
The only other time I've seen it, and I'm only saying it to be statistical.
Okay. Oh,
There was an
no.
old Hungry
I know
Jack's
what you're talking
advertisement, and they were doing 2 cheeseburgers at the same
They were
time,
connected.
and they were connected.
Wait.
Joey's
Swallow your drink.
Joey's.
Swallow
They
your
had
little
two-
fruity tea.
yeah.
They're like 2 mini cheeseburgers. that
Yeah,
were
like
connected.
sliders.
Yeah, remember
yeah.
they were connected. What were they called? They're like twin pack or like twinnies or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, and then immediately after that ad aired,
Yeah,
there
60
was an
minutes.
ad on like 60 Minutes for 2 conjoined twins who had to do like some pretty heavy surgery. But even the frame they used was like, you might as
Same as
well
Hungry
just,
Jack.
it was just like the burgers turned into these 2 people. Like they just went from one frame to the next. It was terribly done, but it lives on
It was
forever.
elite programming
It's
for the guy
clearly-
who's doing the ads.
It must be the best way to shoot twins.
Hungry Jack's minis.
That's right.
I do remember them. They weren't that long ago.
And then they went to the 60-minute conjoinies straight
Yeah.
after it.
So
So it was
funny.
pretty. A lot to unpack there. I wonder if they would have had a meeting about that afterwards, or if that's just
the
like,
guy doing the programming is surely taking the P155. He's putting that ad on.
Do you reckon he texts?
Do you
Is that
reckon?
something you text your mates about? You're like,
Tune
hey
in
boys,
at-
tune in at
Yeah,
7:37.
Zinger.
There is a
Some
howler
crap.
coming in. There is an absolute howler. All right, Judy boy, you got a bit of a dilemma, a bit of a decision, a bit of a multi-choice situation for us.
That's right, boys. Something happened to me this week, which I needed to break down on the show today. It was an issue between me and Joey.
Yes, it tore the family apart this week.
The family was in ruins.
Yeah.
There was the battle of the bedrooms, wasn't it?
Is this become a Judge Jakey?
Okay. This could be a judge.
be.
It's become a Judge Jakey. I don't know. Where,
don't mind.
well,
Yeah,
it's-
where is it?
Where is it?
Hey!
That's right, boys. I got out of the shower a couple days ago.
Yeah.
3 inches.
And I went down to my bedroom to grab some deodorant. Oh, no deodorant in my spray can. I was livid. But luckily, I live with Joe. So I went down the hall and said, Joe, can I borrow some deodorant? And he offered me. He didn't offer me. He said, no, I've only got roll-on deodorant.
Okay.
And I turned my nose away from him because I much prefer spray deodorant than roll-on deodorant.
That's fair enough. Joey, how long have you been running with the roll-on alternative?
Hi guys, my name is Joe. And I'm a roll-on guy. That's right. I changed over to roll-on. I'm now running with the Dove roll-on.
Wow.
It's Dove for men.
Which must be the most gentle. That when
Dove
you roll
for
on,
men.
like there's roll-on, which is meant to be quite gentle
when
on
they
your
have
skin.
to say for men.
For men, it's great. It's very cool looking. It's
when you know
I've
it's not for men.
actually got because I'm running low.
Here we go.
I've got 3 coming tomorrow.
Oh my God. You buy them off Amazon, don't you?
Yeah, $4.
Wow, wait. So,
Right. And they come the next day. I bought them today.
roll-on is meant to be, probably the more alternative and gentle alternative
It's
to spray.
And the
right?
reason why
But Dove is the gentler alternative
Yes.
to everything. So in my mind, the roll-on, the Dove roll, a normal roll-on is just like a cylinder, right? It's a little round ball. I reckon a Dove roll-on would almost be 2 pursed lips going.
it's
It's
even
got to be so sensitive and gentle for our little boy.
it's even sort of
It's
shaped.
just a wet tongue.
It's even shaped in a way where it's kind of ergonomic.
Of
course it
is.
is.
Yeah.
Very nice.
All the crevices.
Yeah, so I switched over to roll-on because I was afraid of the environmental impact of spray.
How many years ago would you have switched?
Well, you got to stop doing spray painting down at the old train station.
Yeah, because I do the
roll on.
yeah because
He's doing he's just got the actual.
because I realized that the spray can have quite bad environmental impacts.
Yeah.
Because I would go out into the bush with it with a lighter and just fucking let rip. It's a lot harder to start a bushfire with a roll on.
Not impossible. But
Oh yeah, it's almost like I
probably.
lay down a giant match. You know, like the bit that you strike the match on.
Yeah, you
and
roll.
I'll just run the roll on and hope for the best.
How long have you been using for the 4th time? How long have you been using roll on?
Quite a while now.
That's not a
Oh
time.
my God! For
3
someone who
years?
have you noticed? For someone who works in data, stats, and math,
Hates Matt.
I
Hates numbers.
ask so many questions that I need like just a number, and he will just say words. How long?
Like 2 or 3 years.
That's not long.
Oh, that isn't long. I would have thought it was longer than that.
Maybe it was longer.
because I've been
4
out.
years.
I've been out of here for 3. You definitely. I thought you had been doing the roll on before that.
You're a
Yeah.
spray. Joe used to love Lynx Apollo.
I did, yeah. I also
That
I
was
like,
Joe's signature scent.
I liked it
The
because
Creed, the Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
I wanted an antiperspirant, but you know the spray, like you buy a Lynx and it's antiperspirant or a Rexona.
Does that mean you hate perspirant?
Very anti it at the moment.
Yeah.
You spray it and then it's like you get that white
Yeah.
powder shit. I'd be
Ruins
like,
your
what
shirt.
is going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah.
I'm like Jake in New Zealand.
All
I
right.
don't know what that means.
Boys, here,
So,
The snow.
okay.
Here's the-
Dandruff.
Yeah, that.
here's the one
Dealt with
reason why I don't think I'll ever switch over to roll-on deodorant.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's solely due to the casualty of it. Because
The casualty.
What?
the roll-on could have...
Did someone die?
No, but the okay. If the roll-on is ever once exposed to an armpit, which isn't freshly out of the shower,
Yeah.
then this is evidence as well. Then it picks up sweat, skin cells, and bacteria, which will then go back into the bottle,
No, that's a good
thus
shout.
contaminating the product. So you have one error
One,
in
yeah.
you, but the spray, you can do it all day long.
Yeah.
It is sort of the equivalent of, let's imagine you get a ketchup bottle, right?
Yeah.
And then
And
out
you
of nowhere.
rub it in your armpit.
No, and then one day someone pisses in it. Right? And then from that day forward,
You, can't
don't,
use the ketchup anymore.
well, but you do because you don't know. So you just keep using it and you go, the ketchup
Or it's
might
a
have
bit-
gone off.
It's a bit more like someone was using it and the hand was bloody.
yeah.
Oh,
And then you don't know
It
which
could be
spot's
bloody.
well,
Yeah.
they've dunked the old bloody fingers in there.
Also, Joe, so say like you have deodorant in your gym bag, right? And then you go to the gym, and then maybe you're going out to like see a friend after or just do something. Like you go to the
we'll
shop.
Take that back. He's never doing that.
I've
That's
never gone to the gym nor had a friend.
and then you need to go out after, but you don't have time to hit the showers.
What do you
can't-
do?
You can't put the roll-on on because it will get contaminated. Because the
there's a bit-
spray can last forever.
There's been multiple times where I have it's not that bad and you don't have the opportunity to throw some water down.
Yep.
So you just throw the spray straight on.
Yep.
But with the roll-on, you don't really have that.
You don't have that luxury.
You need so much to
yeah.
dilute it down.
You need to shower before using roll-on to keep it fresh, but the spray will last forever.
The spray's great at masking. Sometimes you can just spray clothes, but if you went up to my shirt and
you
just started
can't.
rolling
No, you
it, just started rolling it on there, that would look terrible.
But-
so
But the only thing is the roll-on is actually more effective for the antiperspirant aspect.
So there was a lot of questions. I'll answer
3.
them one by one. The going to the gym and then going to see a friend
Yeah.
literally has never happened, will never happen.
Well, yeah, but it's not. You go to the shops or something. Surely once you've gone to the gym and you have gone out
Have you never done
without
that?
going to the showers.
People in high school, for example,
I'll come home, yeah.
I used to have a couple of people at high school would use roll-on, and that's fine, good on them. But we would play sport, no shower, roll on, back into math, and you're like,
That's
I know how sweaty you are.
that's
'cause
weird, yeah.
I can see it under your arms, mainly.
on your
I
back.
do get what you mean, because sometimes if something like that happens where it's like, yeah, you're not like fully sweaty enough to have a shower. But then also because the deodorant I have, it's deodorant. It's not like you don't lather up your arm and then people are like, God, he smells good. So what I do is it's more of that's to
It's a
block,
first layer.
and then I do the cologne for
Yeah.
the smell.
What I want to bring up to you here really quickly, lads, is because this is roll-on, right? So you're talking about it's a liquid in the bottle, and then you've got like a little
Yeah.
hot.
It's like those
hot circle
it's
on
like
top.
You get those sour lollipops.
Yeah.
It's like a thing, and I've done that. Not as good with the Dove.
So, so the roll-on thing, like it's made of plastic or something, and it's basically the only reason it's there
Yeah.
is so that it rolls
It's like it's a mouse.
the liquid.
Like an old
Yeah,
mouse.
yeah. So it rolls the liquid from the inside to the outside, right?
Yeah.
I used to use
Yeah, this is
Old
interesting.
Spice stick.
Oh, the wax stick.
Yes. So it looks like that. So this is what the
Oh.
actual bottle used to look like.
Old
and then inside
Spice.
of it actually looks like sort of like a bottle of wax, right?
Yeah.
Really good. Smelled elite. Really liked it. Do you remember we used to use
Yeah.
this?
So do they come out?
So it comes out like that. So it looks like I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of
My
what.
thing with that,
It's almost like a
it's like a very steep oval shape, isn't it?
yeah.
So what I used to use it heaps.
It's almost like a zinc thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
close. I used to use it quite a bit until Mum complained because obviously hot summers. I still do wear a lot of white shirts, but a lot of hot summers. I'll be sweating, and then I would use that, or I would use that and then sweat, and it essentially turned my underarms into a paste. That was just
Yeah.
immediately melting onto my shirt. So my underarms they smelled great, but the texture was a bit like glue.
Yeah.
And that immediately
You
started.
put on too much.
No, I don't think
my thing with like
straight away as liquid hit it. It just became like
Yeah.
this soluble shit.
my thing with the roll on and the wax thing it causes a lot of friction with the hair, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Like whenever
Do
I've
they ever
used
get
something
tangled?
like that,
You're a pretty
yeah,
hairy
What do you-
operator.
What do you guys think about the armpit hair?
I like it. It's there to stay.
Yeah.
Why?
about you?
What's this going
Which
to
is
be?
interesting, hey?
Would you get rid of it? Would you ever get rid of your armpit hair?
Never thought about
What you should do if you want a quick and easy way to do it, you do that. You just put your elbow up in the air as
Yeah.
though you're going to get rid
and then
of it.
you get the
and then
spray.
Riley can get the
match.
Riley can get the match and the spray.
And then sort them out.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that with a bit of roll on.
Yeah, exactly. Gillette, the best man here. Alrighty, last couple of weeks ago we talked about primary school chairs.
Yep.
And how uncomfortable they are. And that was met with quite an astounding amount of confirmation from the punters. And Joey reckons there's a similar issue with schools and the school norm, especially around school lunches.
Yep. We were talking about how we were comparing the chairs you sit on at school, super uncomfortable, not ergonomic at all.
Yes.
The chairs you sit on at work, the most ergonomic chairs to ever exist.
Often places now pay quite an amount of money to ensure that their employees have ergonomic
Yep.
chairs.
So got another
to cover
one.
themselves from like lawsuits or
and stuff.
yeah.
But kids don't have rights. That's right. We're out here fighting for the kids. And one thing I wanted to bring up was
Yes.
you're in school, right? Especially during summer. It could be a 40-degree day, and your first thing you do, you get in, you hook your bag outside. That's where it sits for the entire day.
Yep.
And what have you got in there? Your books and stuff, you bring them in. You got another pouch in the middle.
Yep.
We got your water bottle. That'll come in for class.
Yep.
Okay. Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
nah. Oh,
Yeah.
primary school didn't. High school, I brought my water bottle in. In primary school, Bottled used to sit in the sun.
Yeah, true. And the other thing that sat in the sun is your old lunch and recess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And so you would just get to the point where you'd have to bring something that's like non-perishable. So like tiny teddies can sit out in the sun.
Yeah.
You can't bring the chocolate back ones, obviously.
No.
True.
But so you might have like a chicken sandwich or a chicken wrap or a ham and cheese sandwich, right?
Yeah.
And you don't want it to be sitting out all day. So your mum or dad, they'll pack you the last line of defense, which is just like an ice block.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like, can you imagine going to work, right? Your lunch is outside of the building all day,
Yep.
but it's in a little bag next to an ice block. And then they're like, oh, it's a chicken burger. Just eat it.
yeah,
Like,
chicken
eat
and
it
lettuce
cold.
sandwich.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't do that.
Yeah, the only thing keeping it cold is that frozen block of ice.
Which
There's no
often, by the time you get
refrigeration.
to lunchtime, is become
Yeah,
just
that's-
a hot water bottle.
And also, like, we would get a classic we would have is like a sandwich. Then mum would wrap it in like
Paper?
baking paper. I don't
Yeah,
know what
okay,
that
yeah,
was, like a
baking
paper
paper, yeah.
thing.
Yep.
And then you'd have to also then wrap that in plastic.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then the paper gets so soggy with the condensation.
The sandwich and paper become one.
So
Yeah.
this whole the school lunches have always made me feel very ill. It's one of the few things. I'm a very particular individual, but the school lunches are something that I've been particular from my first ever memory. So even in like, we all went to the same primary school.
Yeah.
There were rules that were added to the school after my year group went through because I didn't like certain things about how lunches went.
Yeah,
right?
one disgusting thing that we used to do in pre-primary was for recess, everyone would bring a bit of fruit, cut up or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
It would be put into a plate, and then you and like a group of 4 other kids would then share that food.
Yeah.
But people would send in, and firstly, like for a lot of fruit, they had to cut it in the morning because obviously the teacher can't
Yeah.
cut up all this fruit.
Yeah.
But a lot of fruit is like once you cut it,
Goes off.
the clock is ticking for that to be good to eat or not good to eat.
So I'll go one step further. When I was at the same primary school,
Yeah.
in pre-primary,
Yep.
not only would it was just bring a snack, could be anything, right? And then they would pop it all on a plate for you, a massive plate.
Charcuterie board.
Essentially, yeah. But you've got oranges touching Cocoa Pops, touching
like
muesli
rice
bars,
crackles.
touching so you got wet food touching dry food. Some of it's sweet, some of it's sour, some of it's expired, some of it's stale. No one gives a fuck.
There's
They're
a bit of
five.
salmon.
just push it out. So like
Yeah.
some of the stuff, and it used to make me feel sick. I still can't really eat. I separate a lot of my foods, and I've done it from a very young age. But it's because I have eaten like a piece of Nutri-Grain that tasted far too much like an
Yeah.
orange.
Yeah.
And I went, this is gross.
Yeah, the worst for me was when the orange juice leapt onto the banana.
It happened all the time.
Oh, and you got like orange tasting
But at least
banana.
that's fruit with fruit. Some chick was bringing in sandwiches that were then touching the fruit. Like imagine dunking your ham and cheese sandwich
Yep.
in orange juice and
then
then
eat
putting
it.
that in your mouth.
No,
you
yeah.
wouldn't do that as a human being. But when you're 5, it's like, why didn't you eat your recess? Oh, because it tasted like shit.
Another thing with that, like the group dining, like when you're kids, all that does is like the kids that are loud and assertive and
yeah.
bullies. That's right, I went there. Like they would obviously get all the good stuff, and like the nice, quiet kids would be like, "Ah, fuck."
I've got the banana soaked in
another
orange juice.
honeydew. Yeah. But yeah, I just feel like I don't understand because like there's like the canteen.
Yeah.
Like, and they have a lot of food at the canteen. They're feeding hundreds of kids, so they must have like a giant fridge.
Oh, yeah, you can't have hundreds of people bringing in their food and putting it in that.
I reckon
It's got to be a fridge situation. They do it at work.
I reckon
Cowboys.
I reckon every single classroom in primary school and high school should have a fridge for kids to put their lunch in.
I don't mind that.
Like every homeroom has
the,
a fridge.
Where's the teacher put their food?
Staff
room
room.
fridge.
Must be nice. They've got probably like 4
Yeah.
fridges in there, beers all lying down in the bottom row. Actually, now that I speak of it, I remember our PE teachers when we were in year 12, we were then allowed into like the shed where they keep all the balls and the nets and the cricket bats and
Yeah,
stuff.
okay.
And there was a fridge in there. And then, one day the teacher walked out and we were like, oh, have a cheeky look in the fridge. What's in there? Open it. Case of Coronas in the bottom. Just so naughty from the old PE department. You know that they're just sinking them on Friday Arvo once it hits 3.
Legend status there. I used to never do sandwiches.
What would you eat for lunch?
No, I didn't used to really. I didn't realize it at the time, but I definitely had like an eating disorder as a kid.
Sure,
I used to do primary school because I didn't know what that meant. Like I just didn't eat, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what he does. He don't eat. Primary school, I don't like food. I don't like sandwiches. I'm on record for saying this. I don't eat. I ate a slice of bread tonight. That'll be the first and probably only slice of bread I'll eat this year.
What about Subway?
That's not. Firstly, it's not bread,
That's
but
a
secondly,
roll.
it's a roll.
It's a
I love a
roll.
roll. I had a roll for lunch. I'll go to the IGA,
So
pick
like
up
circular bread.
pick up a roll, pick up a roll and eat that. I just hate slices of bread, mainly because it's fresh for until they cut it, and usually that's when they hand it to you, and you go, "Fuck, it's a ticking time bomb."
Do you still not like crust?
I don't. Nah.
It's funny that when you're a kid and you're like, Mum would like cut the crust off. It's like that's so much of the slice.
That's majority of the slice, but I just hated. I hate the idea of if I make a sandwich. Very rarely does that happen, or a roll. I eat it then and there. I could never pack a sandwich and be like, "Oh, I'll have this in 4 hours." I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's not good.
And often I think that just largely stems from when I was at school because Mum would make she used to be a legend. She'd give me Vegemite sandwiches initially, and then having one of them every fucking day, I went off them entirely.
Yeah.
And then she started doing fairy bread sandwiches, which was just 2 slabs of white bread with butter and fairy bread. The fairy, what do you call them?
Hundreds
of thousands. Just put them together and then just send me off to school with that. I used to get sick of that. So after this is probably year 1, I just exhausted all of my
Sandwich, likes.
absolutely everything in that category. So I just stopped eating it, and now I just don't like any. If it's not fresh, I don't want it. That's basically where I sit with bread.
I feel like being a parent now would be so much harder because I feel like people are a lot more aware about you shouldn't be eating all this processed foods and stuff.
Yeah.
But it must be hard to come up with a menu for a kid. Even I remember Mum would try something new. And you'd have it and you'd be like, oh, this is the best lunch I've ever had.
Yeah.
And then
4 weeks later.
20 times you had that in a row.
Yeah.
Then you're a bit if I eat this again, I might, the school might have a bit of an emergency situation on there.
It's when you're an adult, you rarely have the same lunch 2 days in a row. But when you're a kid in school, every single day you have the same lunch.
Yeah. We used
Not
to
by
have,
choice.
I'll just say names. A kid from my school.
Definitely didn't need to, but yeah.
He used to have a sandwich, right?
Yeah.
I think his mum would pack him 2 sandwiches.
Nice.
But he would want to eat it quicker. So he would
Are they the same?
they were always pesto. A pesto sandwich.
What's pesto? Like pasta?
No, it's
Chicken.
more like a sauce dip kind of thing. It's
Okay.
like pine.
Never heard of this.
Oh,
It's like
pesto
pine
sandwich.
nuts.
Where's he from?
Italy.
Right.
All right.
And basically what he would do is
Bolognese sandwich.
because he was eating 2 sandwiches. Or maybe he was cutting to 4.
double
Anyway,
decker. He's
anyway
doing
what he
double
would do is
decker.
he would stack up so he would have 4 fucking sandwiches in a row and kind of squish them and eat them because he'd be like, and then you'd be like, why are you doing it? And he'd bite into it. And because he's got so much bread and pesto, he's got to get to it.
God.
You can eat it faster. And I'm like, but every bite takes you so long to get to.
And it hurts.
Because
It hurts to watch, it hurts to do. My God.
That's like when they used to do at Hungry Jack's.
Oh, we're going double down on Hungry Jack. Are we
Yes,
sponsored this week?
They would do one Whopper is not enough. It's got to be a quad Whopper. Or they
Okay.
do a quad cheeseburger, and they just keep how many slices
Oh,
of meat
yeah.
in there. And then I remember when I was a kid, I would see the poster, and I'd be like, how does anyone even fit that in their mouth?
But the better question is, why is anyone trying to fit that in there now? Boys, 5 years of the pod coming up, so it's time for a performance review.
You bloody betcha, Jake. It's been too long.
It's been too long. Who's the boss? Who's telling us what we're doing?
Well, we don't have bosses here at the MacPack. You are the only stakeholder listening.
Oh.
So we want to throw the thing open to you. We've made a Google form with a few questions in there.
It's anonymous.
It's completely anonymous. So whether that is a good thing or a bad thing will work out after the first few come through. But it does mean no matter what you put in there, we'll never know who put anything in there. We want to hear your favourite favourite things about the pod, your least favourite things about the pod, the things you want more of, the new ideas that you might have.
Yes.
It's all open for you guys.
Link in bio, link in show notes. Hit us up.
Alrighty, boys, it's time for our favourite weekly segment. It's our only weekly segment. It's time for our Everyday Hero.
Diesel was $1.79 the other day, boys. It's never been that cheap before.
Oh, really?
Your car's diesel.
I didn't know that either.
It does get that cheap, but not the servos that I usually go to. But there was one. I've got this Petrol Spy app. Do you guys use it?
I just got like the fuel app.
It tells you, where the cheapest petrol is around town, right?
It's often not updated though. The one I use. It's
The
just
one
like,
I use is good.
Mine can tell me what the petrol was down the road 3 weeks ago.
Oh, cool.
Which isn't as relevant when you're driving there.
Anyway, so I was driving to the
You're in
old.
the DeLorean.
I was in the $1.79 Ampol or whatever it was, up on Wharton Road.
Oh, Wharton Road.
I don't usually go down Wharton Roadways, but I was down Wharton Road.
Nice.
Lots of warts, lots of roads. And I pulled up and I was, it was a cold night. It was a cold winter's night.
We're getting the full. Is this going to be a feature film?
I was fueling up, and as I got out of my car and I started to fuel up, I noticed there was a gentleman sitting underneath the ice, machines.
Yeah, the ice thing.
Yeah, where they keep all the bags of ice. And then it became more apparent to me that this gentleman had been experiencing homelessness.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, fuck, poor guy.
Not the best spot to see if it's a cold night. Surely that's like the coldest area.
Maybe there's like...
Do you know what I mean? Maybe the only place colder would be in the actual machine.
No, maybe it's like, we've... the aircon's on, but it's hot outside.
It's like you stand behind the fridge and it's hell hot.
Yeah.
Maybe that's true. That could be what he was doing.
Anyway, I think he was just trying to be... Maybe he was just trying to be seen by the people, maybe. Maybe he just wanted to be accompanied by some safekeeping. It's well lit, lots of cameras around. And he was just chilling out there, hanging there with his backpack. And I was like, oh, poor guy, it's so cold. And then I was thinking, I wonder if I could get him a blanket or something. I doubt they sell blankets at this tiny little Ampol. But someone beat me to it.
Oh.
Because as I was filling up, I saw a lady who parked up at the Bowser next to me walk over to him after she'd filled up her car and just had a quick little chat with him. And I was like, I wonder if she knows him. Maybe she's a local around this Ampol on Wharton Road. Maybe she lives on Wharton Road.
Potentially.
Nice, yeah.
Good on her. Some people are doing her very well.
and and she, I was like, and then she walked off and I was like, oh yeah, maybe she's just saying hi or da-da-da. And then I was still fueling up because it's a massive diesel tank.
Yeah.
Humble brag.
I was at the $400 point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she came back out with a warm sandwich in hand.
Oh,
and
that's
she
nice.
handed it to him. I was like, that's such a kind gesture for this gentleman who can have a nice warm meal on this cold winter's night. And it was at that point I realised that was an everyday hero.
Love it.
Love
That's
it.
very nice. I like that she went and had a chat to him as well. Cause
Maybe she was asking, what do you...
Chicken and
What do
avo,
you fancy?
get his order.
ham and cheese. What would you like?
Yeah. Hopefully they were as fresher than the ones that we were talking about earlier from the schools. At least they were inside and
Yeah.
fresh.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I thought
is.
it was a really nice gesture. I mean, there's not really much you can get someone like that from a servo, maybe, especially on a cold night. I thought blanket, but obviously that wasn't an option. But she thought she'd get him a nice meal, and I thought, wow.
And a bit of nutrients as well was always fantastic. Sometimes just a packet of chips doesn't really...
And it warms you up to have food in you as well.
absolutely.
Energy, yeah.
No, I really like it. People are doing it tough. And obviously in Australia, we usually think the summer months must be pretty rough.
I reckon
Yeah.
the winter will be
I
way
reckon
worse.
winter's a lot worse.
Yeah, I reckon it's a lot easier to get cool than it is to get warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. There's lots of places you can go in and get cool.
Get a bit
And
of
find
aircon,
shade. Often it's a lot cooler
And it gets
in the
cool at
shade.
night.
Yeah,
as well.
and during the day, you can go somewhere that has aircon.
Yeah.
But during the night, a lot of places are shut. So
Exactly right. There you go. This week's Everyday Hero is going to the lady who assisted this homeless gent and fed him for the evening.
The gent who was homeless.
I love it.
That's it.
Alrighty, boys, that just about brings us to the end of another episode of the MacPack Podcast. We did put the poll up, Junior Boy, roll on versus spray.
Yeah, and what did the people say?
The punters have come back with 55% of people saying roll-on.
Oh, I'm in the minority.
With 45% of people saying they prefer to use spray. I just want to look at these stats a little bit more.
Can we get is there a male to female?
That's what I'm looking at. There's a lot more. There's some.
Because I know lots of women.
There's a lot of blokes who are rolling on. A lot more blokes than I was aware
Roll
of.
on, lads.
Because I was thinking
We're the quiet majority.
Okay, here you go. There's more ladies who are spraying than there are ladies who are rolling on.
Hell
there
yeah,
are more
girls.
ladies that are spraying than there are men that are.
So there's so let me get this right. So all the boys are using Dove for men, and all the girls are using Lynx for
Links
women.
for women, yeah.
I like it. It's 2025, man. Be who you want to be. We did ask the question why would you use one or not the other?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nick reckons it's easier to bring when you travel a lot.
yeah, it's tiny, and you can get it through airports and stuff.
Can you not take?
Aerosol gets a bit toey.
Iffy, yeah.
You can take it in your carry-on. No, not your carry-on. The other one.
Yeah, the other one should be
Baggage.
sweet.
Yeah.
Depends where you go.
Who's taking deodorant in their carry-on?
People who want to sort of take over the plane.
Depends how depends how long you're traveling for. You could be on a 40-hour travel thing. You could be going from country to country.
And that's a lot of people you should sort of kill with your spray on.
Joshy iFit said that there. I can't tell which one he went with, but it works for both. He said are effective in removing odors within your armpits. So he's not wrong.
He ain't wrong at all.
He's not wrong. Raf, our good man Raf, said, I like the head spins you get from huffing spray. You don't get the same effect from licking roll-on.
He's clearly never downed
It's a man who's tried
a
to
pint of roll-on.
trying to test
I'd
it.
love to crack open a roll-on deodorant, see what
Just
the
have your
liquid's
way with
like
it.
in there.
I think someone that I went to school with tried to put a
You can pop
a
them
match in it. Like open it up, put a match in there.
and then throw the ball back down.
Because then instead of being like a flamethrower with the spray,
Oh,
it
the
was more of a
aerosol.
grenade.
Molotov.
With the roll-on one.
That's huge.
We've got
Gotta
a couple more.
He lost his hand.
George, the king, George. You got to go, George, because George gets in contact all the time. He's an absolute superstar. George says, because why would you want to rub a wet ball on your skin?
There we go.
And that's exactly right.
Fair enough.
Preaching to
Joe,
the choir.
any reasons why you want to rub wet balls on yourself?
For men.
I just like the way it feels. For man, Dove.
For men.
Take care, Kanye.
For men.
What is Dove's slogan?
For me.
Dove. Ferment. You stinky bastard.
Boys, it has been an absolute pleasure.
That is.
Until we do this time next week, stay safe, stay blessed, and always remember to
Go give your mum a hug.
it's Java now, but not forever. G'day, guys. Hope you're enjoying the podcast.
As always.
We're about to be enjoying the podcast anyway. Yeah. If you are enjoying the pod, make sure to send it to a friend. And excitingly, there's a brand new feature
New feature alert.
on Spotify, which is that little feedback box.
The box. We love a little box.
Settle. And on the on each of the episodes, you can plug away a bit of feedback for the show. So you can literally say specifically, basically give us some feedback specific to the show that you just listened to, the episode you just listened to. No matter what episode you're up to, ping us in that feedback, and then you can that feedback will then feature for other people who are catching up or they're listening to the episodes. They will see that as well, and most importantly, we like to see it. So if you can share it with your friends and write a few little words in the box, it would mean the absolute world to us.